This video is to assist you do activity 2, and here we are playing around with the import, export and trade balance. What you have to do is to go to this website. It's the same website we'll be using for the rest of the semester, and you have a couple of things to do. The first thing is you need to plot a line plot showing the balance of trade relationship between Canada and any three trade partners of your choice. Then you now need to plot a line plot showing the total export of Canada for the past 5 years and another one showing the import for the past 5 years. Then you need to provide a comment where you explain the relevance of this information to a business. Why should a business care? How can it help a business in decision making? So provide it from the perspective of a business owner. Okay, so we are going to go to this website. I've already opened it. Generally, it takes a few minutes, a few seconds, not minutes, maybe 10 seconds to load. Once it loads, scroll down, come to trade data. I'll click on it and then I'll click on download. Once you do that, it should download the data. So you can click here to open it, but I strongly advise you do not do it because I'm trying to teach you the best approach. There are several approaches of doing the same thing, but I want to provide the most appropriate for you. Okay, we are going to open a blank Microsoft Excel workbook. Now, if you try to do it this way, it doesn't work. Please try to use the computers in the lab. Okay, here we are going to click on data, go to get data, and our file is a CSV file. I'm going to take from CSV. It's going to open a dialog box that will enable me to go and get the data from my download page. I'll click trade, import, and it's going to open another window, which will be a window to lead me to Power Query. So I'll click on transform data. Once my data opens, the first thing I want to do is to check to make sure that it's in the right format. If you do not do this check, you will have problems. So what's the check? Make sure the data type is date. I'll click here. If it is not date, then I have to choose date. But you can see it's already date. Make sure this is ABC. ABC means you are dealing with text data, because if you look here you have text. ABC, this is text. Make sure this is 1.2. Now, if you don't have this profile in here, just go to view, click on column quality, and it's going to give you something like that. That's all what you have to do. Now, the next thing I want to do, given that here we were told to choose any trading partners, I'm going to take US, China, and I'll take France, given that we are in Quebec. So let me go back to my data. I'll go to trading partners. I'll click the drop down. I'll click load more so that it will load everything. I will click select all to uncheck everything. Then I will click on China. I want to take China. I want to take France, and I want to take United States. Then, very important, you want to take all countries. Why all countries? Because here you can see it says you should plot a line plot showing the total export of Canada. So this is the export with all countries. The first one, it's only with a first, second, and third trading partner, but the next two questions you want to look at it from the perspective of all countries. Okay, once we've done that, we'll say okay, and you'll see all countries: US, France, China. That's all what we have. That's all what we are going to mess around with here. And I'll go to home, close and load to. I will not change anything here. I'll just click on OK, and it's going to load my data. I'm going to close this. I don't really need it. And I'll click anywhere inside of this table, go to insert. I want to launch my pivot table, click on insert, At times you may find table here. If you click the drop down, you will likely find pivot table. But I already have my pivot table here, so I will click on it. Nothing will be changed here. I'll just say OK. Now, once you come here into your pivot table, it's very important that you don't click elsewhere. If you click here, for example, you'll see that everything disappears. But if you click anywhere inside, it comes back. The pivot table fields are reactivated. Now, the first thing, I'll click on value, hold down my mouse, drag and drop it here. Now, I don't want the sum of values. I want average. So I will click on top of sum, click value field setting, take average, click number format, take number, make sure I have 2 decimal places, OK and OK. The next thing I want to do is to take trading partners, click, hold, drop it where we have columns. And finally, I want to take date, hold, drag and drop it where we have rows. Now, for my first chart, I need to generate some slicers and timeline. So make sure you've clicked anywhere inside. Go to pivot table analyze, click on slicer. The first slicer, I want to click on trade. OK. Now I have my first slicer. I will click again in here, go to pivot table analyze, insert slicer, and I'll take trading partners this time. OK. Now I have the trading partners. I'll put them there. The last thing I want to do, click in here again, go to pivot table analyze, insert timeline, click on date and OK. Now, once you put your date there, so you can put it anywhere depending on the size of your screen, come here, click on months. There's this drop down arrow and click on years. Now we said we are interested in the past 5 years. So I want to choose just the past 5 years. So I will click on 2024, put my mouse here and just drag. Okay, to get the past 5 years, 5 point something years, doesn't really matter. But that's it. So now you can see that I basically have about 5 years something. So I'll click anywhere inside. I will go to pivot table analyze, click on pivot chart, take a line and then OK. Now, if you take a look at the first question says, so let me go back. It says the trade balance between Canada and any 3 partners. So using the pivot table, I'll click here on trade balance. So this is trade balance. And these are the countries. So I'll click on China. I'll hold down my control key and click on France and US and release it. So that is what my slicer has helped me achieve. The next thing I want to do is to come here. You will see this plus button that enables me to expand. I'll click on it once, click on it a second time, and there we go. So if, for example, I just want to examine the trade balance between Canada and the USA, I just need to click on USA, and you can see that we have a positive trade balance that is actually increasing, meaning that we are exporting more than we are importing to the States. If you click on France, you can see that mostly below 0. So we have a negative trade balance, meaning we are importing more than we are exporting. Same thing with China. Okay. However, the question said you should have all of them on one chart. So I'll click on Control, hold down France, hold down United States, release it, and there we go. Now you can discuss about it. Why? What does this mean? Why is it relevant to a business? Okay. you can adjust this thing by going to design. Once the chart is active, go to design and then choose any design format you like. If you want, you should come here, click on add chart element. You can actually add the title. You can add the chart title on top. Basically this, I will not like to leave it there. If I were you, I will want to put the legend at the bottom because it's taking valuable space. So I'll go to chart element, I'll look for where legend is, I'll place the legend at the bottom. I'll click there to place it at the bottom. So you can play around and add things. I will want a title, I'll go to add chart element, I'll look for chart title and I'll click on above. I'll put the chart title there, maybe adjust it like this and do whatever I want. Now the next thing you want to do is to click on that chart, do Ctrl C or copy it, or you can just go to home, go to copy, and you want to copy it as a picture. Very important. If you don't copy it as a picture, when you take it to Word and you do changes here on your Excel, it's also going to change your chart. So I'll copy it as a picture as shown on screen. Yes, I'll say OK. I'll open a blank Word document and I will paste it in the document. So there we go, paste it and play whatever game you want. Now the next thing we want to do is the next question, which says plot a line plot showing the total export of Canada for the past 5 years and total import. So total export and import. Let me move my slicers here so that we can play with it. I don't need to change my timeline, however my chart. I'm now interested in export and import, not just for these countries, but with all countries. So I'll click on all countries and I will take export and I will hold down my control key and also press import and release it. Okay, so however, this is where it becomes interesting. You see, we only have one line. We should not have one line. For this particular chart, we will go to where we have trading partners. We will replace it with trade. Okay, trading partners, we will uncheck trading partners. I'll come here, click on it to uncheck it, and I'll take trade. I'll drag it and put it where we have our columns. I'll put it there. Okay, I'll put it here. So now you can see that we have all countries, export, import, and that is what's happening. So now to really make it interesting, if you want to make it interesting, you just need to click make it active, go to design, and here you can find, let's see, is there anything that makes it look nicer? Well, I've not found anything that makes it look nicer. So I can just make it start at 30,000 because this space is too big. So I'll click anywhere on the y-axis. I'll click on it. I will right click and take format axis. Once I click on format axis, it's going to appear here. So here I will say start at 30,000. And I'll click out of that point to make it start there. Then you can see the overall difference between here. You can see that the imports, these are the imports and these are the exports. So if you want to see if overall Canada is importing more than exporting with the rest of the world, you can just click on trade balance. That will give you an easy answer. If you click on it, you can see what is happening overall. So here I just need to transform it back to 0. Okay, let's see. If I put it back, or I say minus minus 10,000. Okay, so you can see the trade balance. Whenever it's below zero, you know we are having a negative trade balance. However, the question wanted to see export and import. So I'll hold back control, click both, and then I'll come here and I'll put 30,000. Click outside. That's it. Now you can take this chart, copy, and you can copy it as so if I go to home, I can copy that chart as a picture and then go to my Word document and paste it. So basically that's it. That's what you were asked to do. If you take a look at the instruction, you fulfill this first one, the second and the third on a chart. Now comment, looking at those charts, why should a business care? What information does it give you for you to be able to use it for strategy as a strategic decision making tool? Okay, have fun. No, remember, I'm looking for your best effort.